We're gonna crush the garlic clove. And I don't know, you can probably eat the end, but I never do. And whatever size you leave them is the size they'll be in your aioli. So if you want big chunks, leave big chunks. I prefer them to be a little smaller dice. That's probably good. Going to begin with your minced garlic. And I put in maybe about 1/8 cup of olive oil. It doesn't really matter how much you put in because you're going to use a lot more oil, up to a cup later anyway. The nice thing about using some oil now is the garlic, as it cooks, flavors the oil a little bit, which is good in the aioli. But about 1/8 cup, that much is perfect. So we'll let that cook and not get brown, but just get a little bit softened. So not too much cooking on it. Okay, and that's probably enough. It doesn't need to get cooked, just softened a little bit. So we're ready to go to the next step. Hi, camera. Okay, so we're gonna start with 1 egg yolk. So we have to get rid of the white, and you can save that for another dish or breakfast in the morning. So we've got our egg yolk here ready to go. We're gonna want about 1.5 teaspoons or so of lemon juice. And obviously I don't measure, that looks good. But I think it's about 1.5 teaspoons. A little bit of white wine vinegar, maybe 1/2 teaspoon, just a little drip of white wine vinegar. And a squirt of mustard. Some kind of Dijon mustard is good. That's probably the most you'll want to use, not too much more than that. A pinch of salt, a generous pinch of salt is good. So we'll throw that in. And then you're gonna take what you have so far. I like using the KitchenAid. You can do this in a food processor as well. And just get it kind of mixed up in there on a low, medium, low speed until it gets to be kind of a light yellow color. So that'll go for about 45 seconds a minute. Okay, that looks pretty good. So the first oil you're gonna put in is gonna be the oil that you cooked the garlic in, and you'll get the garlic in there as well. And this doesn't have to go in too slowly. You want to drizzle it in, but it doesn't have to be a drop at a time. So you're just going to slowly drizzle this oil in at a relatively low speed. And then once that is mixed in, you're going to take your olive oil and really slowly drizzle that down the side of the bowl. You don't want it to hit the beater so it goes off to the side. You want it to make it all the way down. I'm going to get some of that garlic down in there so that that gets mixed in. All in all, for 1 egg yolk, I use maybe 2/3 of a cup of oil. And the amount of olive oil versus another light oil is kind of up to you. I like to use about half and half. I think if I use olive oil, it just tastes like olive oil. So I cut it with something else like safflower oil. So we'll do a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of safflower oil, and then I'll taste it, and then I'll go back and forth and kind of see what we can do. So that's perfect right there, just dripping slowly. The number one thing that goes wrong making this is you put in the oil too quickly so it doesn't emulsify. And you'll know that happens if the aioli doesn't get thick, if it stays really liquidy. And you put that oil in too fast, and I don't think there's any fixing it. I think you just have to start over. So you have to be patient and really just let it drip. And you'll see down in the bowl it's getting nice and thick with that just dripping in. Once the emulsification is going well, and you have maybe a half cup or so of oil in there, then you can speed up the rate at which you're putting the oil in and kind of let it drizzle more than drip. And it'll still take that oil even though it's coming in a little bit more quickly. And at some point, you want to let the oil that's still dripping in there get mixed in. And then the important part is taste testing and seeing what you got. So it might taste too much like olive oil, it might taste too much like lemon or garlic or something. And that one's pretty good. So if it's too much like olive oil, add more of the other oil that you're cutting it with. If it's too much like any of the other ingredients, just add more oil. And you should be good to go. Awesome with fries.